House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is already off to an awful start in 2019 with the help of a great majority of Democrats instituting a spending measure in the rules package called PAYGO that will hamstring progressive priorities like the Green New Deal and Medicare for All. So there are a lot of reasons to be angry, very angry at Nancy Pelosi right now. But she does have an opportunity to redeem herself by doing the unthinkable for her, fighting corruption. I know what you're thinking. Pelosi and corruption and big donors go hand in hand and hand in hand and hand and leg and eyeball and pinky toe. I got a little carried away with the body parts. Point being, Pelosi and big donors are intertwined. This is a huge reason why she pushed for PAYGO. Hampering progressive legislation is good for the corporations that give her and the Democratic Party cash. But many Democrats are wising up and realizing that when the rules of the game favor members of Congress who raise the most money from big donors and corporations, the party that is most consistently friendly towards big donors and corporations will always win. No matter how far right the Democrats try to lean, the Republicans will always out-corporate them. So they'll always have an advantage. That is, unless the Democrats change the rules of the game, which is shockingly what is being proposed right now. The first bill Democrats plan to move in January when they take control of the House will mark a major step forward on a long-standing progressive goal: public financing of congressional campaigns. H.R. 1 would establish for the first time in American history a system to fund congressional campaigns through small dollar matching funds. Thus, would it liberate members of Congress from dependence on large private funders. Basically, the bill would give subsidies to people who want to make small dollar contributions to candidates they like, and eligible candidates could have their contributions matched by the government. Now, this has long been a proposal of campaign finance reform and anti-corruption activists. Provide a small sum of money to each eligible voter that they can donate to the candidate of their choice. It's a fantastic idea and a fantastic bill, but where does Pelosi come into this? Well, this current piece of legislation was based on a bill from last year, which wasn't even brought to a vote, but Pelosi was a co-sponsor of that bill called the Government by the People Act of 2017. I know, it's shocking. Well, it's less shocking when you realize that this isn't a principled stance, but more of a pragmatic one. Democrats alone raised more than $1 billion through small dollar contributions in 2018. 85 out of 208 candidates who ran this year on pledges to disavow corporate or PAC money won their primaries, and 42 went on to win seats across both chambers. So it's almost as if the strategy that Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez were championing is not only popular, but lucrative to the party. Very interesting. Now, this is what's frustrating about Pelosi's leadership style. It defines leading from behind. Her philosophy is not progressive, both in its policy substance and in its style. She didn't push for small dollar donations or campaign finance overhaul. She waited to see that it worked, and now is potentially tepidly backing it. It's not an accident that this bill is H.R. 1. Democrats are smartly trying to show the base that campaign finance changes are a priority for them. The bill also attacks partisan gerrymandering and seeks to restore the Voting Rights Act, both incredibly important issues, because maybe, just maybe, Democrats are figuring out that Republicans have been playing an unfair game based on the rules that they and their corporate donors have written. Getting more corporate donors is not the answer. It's still a game rigged towards the GOP. Now that Democrats are in power in the House, they're seeking to rewrite those unfair rules. And it's actually an incredibly smart strategy. We must put pressure on Pelosi to not only support this bill, but to publicly push for it. Because, to speak in her language, it's in her interest. It's in her interest and it's in the party's interest. And it's what's right to boot.